Have you ever had a really good week just for the next one to actually lose absolutely everything, all your profit, and then maybe repeat? If so, stick around, give a sub, and let's improve that trading psychology. How do we do that? By improving our entries and our exits, and by testing over and over again our strategy, because at least in my opinion, just the brain starts evolving into I know what I'm doing and laziness.
Studied the tape till my eyes went red. Every loser taught me, every win kept me fed.
Alright, here we go, and this is the first episode of the Weekend Workshop where we trade in replay to keep our mind sharp and to always remind ourselves that we have to do a strong analysis before we go deep into a trade. I chose a random date and we're just gonna go over bar by bar. We are gonna trade 5 minutes, the ES, and let's see what we can do out of this day. All right, so the market just opened and we're gonna go bar by bar and see what happens. We have the 5 minutes. Here we go. Let's analyze bar by bar and see if we have any opportunities into going up or down. Right here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attempts to go up with this much volume. Here we had 1, 2, 3, and 4 exhaustion with this volume. This volume interesting because this opens the market and we know that that's just the open of the market, but as of right now it does feel a little bit weak. It does feel that some supply is hidden into those beautiful green bars. This is a pretty good bar comparing to this other one. We are pushing below. We are stopping in an important local level. So my ideal next bar will be if we can have one extra attempt to go up and into an exhaustion. That will be ideal entry point for me going down. That is interesting. There is higher volume. The bar itself did not commit above the open of the other bar, and that is a good sign. It did have an attempt to come into the area. It's not a great exhaustion bar, but I would say that this is an entry point. Let's enter right here. We are selling one contract, easy, and here we go. All right, so now we are exhausting a little bit into this. We are not able to reach below, and now we are doing bar by bar analysis deep. Let's see if we are able to see where we should exit properly. I don't see too much supply, so let's move on into the next bar. Makes sense because we didn't see too much continuation here. We negated basically the no demand bar right here. Now the question is, are we staying in the trade or not? As of right now, I want to see one of the sides. As of now, yes, we received some extra demand in here. Here we go. There you go. That's beautiful bar. This is an improvement of all 3 bars over this one, over this, and this one. If you enjoy this type of content, I would appreciate if you would give me a sub, a thumbs up, and a comment below. As a small content creator, I am fighting with YouTube's algorithm, and I am buried down below. I am not getting the views that this type of analysis deserve. So if you enjoy this content, I will appreciate your help. Thank you, and let's continue. we were able to cross below that support, but not by a lot. We did not commit below, so we are still not very strong. Let's do one more bar. That's interesting. That is some weakness in there, not very strong. So there is still demand in here, and I don't really like the demand itself, but we were capable of reaching the resistance and we brought it below right there. Here, exhaustion of tiny bit of the volume, not very noticeable. Let's just go with one more bar. We are looking for that decisive bar that will say, no, we are not ready, or yes, now we're going down. There you are, finally. I should have talked about it much earlier. All right, very important. Where do we stop? We stop right at support. Volume. This is the volume. It's bigger than this. All right, so now let's see what this bar achieves. Is this bar bigger than this one? I think they are pretty similar. Meaning what? There is some hidden demand in here. It's pretty weak because of where we stopped, where we started. So there is commitment, but I'm not convinced yet. Let's move on. Interesting. We are approaching similar ideas as here. We have a bar. Let's see how this is gonna continue, or how we're gonna test that. And that is something that tells us what? We're testing the low on a lower volume. This could be a secondary point of fear. Very careful with those no commitment below bars. This right here, it is, I would suggest that we are going up. We are going to have a rally from here. Now let's see how strong of a rally we have. We only have one contract. In the best case scenario, I should have 2-3 contracts here, get out one, wait for the other two to see what is happening. But we're just playing around and let's see the best that we can do. Oh, we actually went immediately down. Great, because this last bar scared me because there was nobody there. Now, nobody there sometimes means that there is no demand and we are just little by little we are dropping the way that it happened here. Or many times after a push as strong as the previous one, it means what? Sellers were interested in the price going down until a specific level, but then not. Fortunately, this is the good version, so we are going down. Now let's see, where are we going? Interesting. Immediately some demand comes in and we have this bar with more improvement of the demand than this other one right here. Now we are still weak, but we improved. And this is gonna tell us what? The next bar, this one, may be even an up bar. Let's see. Not an up bar, but it is better than this other one. And actually, if you look deeper, it was an up bar right here. It had a much bigger, better supply tail. That's very interesting. Yes, supply still come in because we are strong, but careful because demand is there. We also have more volume. We tried. We did not achieve too much, so we are still on the way down, but let's see where are we stopping. Remember what we talked about, that exhaustion? In this case, we are seeing what? Again, stopping right here. And now we are increasing volume. Very possible that actually we are having hidden demand in here. Now, let's see how much demand we have to understand, are we getting out or not yet? How can we do that? Well, let's compare this or even these two with this or these two right here. Volume pretty similar. This is an improvement to push down, but we are not capable of going anywhere. Let's see if we can see anything else. Yeah, we could take it here, but not yet. Let's give it one more bar. We may have an up bar from here, but we are still weak. That's very interesting. Remember we said that we actually are coming in this area? Yes, we are. And now we are starting to have some stronger demand coming in. Why? Well, because we are not capable of pushing below this area. And that's important to know. Okay. What are we doing? It's still not very strong. I'm seeing how we are gaining some momentum on the demand. Now, the question is, where can we go? We may come into this area. We entered up here, so we should be fine. So therefore, let's try a couple more bars. Demand coming in. We are looking here. We're comparing this area 1 2 with 1 2. Maybe we're coming into something like this. That may actually show the exhaustion of the supply if the case is, and maybe we will even have an attempt into some of the levels depending on the strength. So before that we should look into, are we getting out? We're not. What are we doing? There you go. Interesting. Love it. Okay, let's see. So we're coming into the important level right here. This is a pretty good bar on the volume. Now let's see what volume we have here. Something like this, improved. What else? Something like this, improved by a lot. Maybe a test into this area. Let's see. That is a test with some selling into the important area, as we called it before. Higher volume, some sellers are here, it makes sense. We were aggressive. Now this is less aggressive than this, so we should be careful. I do think that we are gonna retest at least into this area, and that's gonna give us our exit point. Am I wrong? Let's find out. All right, we are pretty strong right here. This bar is actually a little bit worse than this one. We should have something like this, maybe a red candle. Oh, okay, better than I expected. I expected something like this, but red. This is better. Okay, where? Important level, makes sense. Now, this candle shows what? High volume, test of this, important level. We said that. Okay, so yeah, probably like this. We're still weak. Let's see if we are having a trading range like this, maybe. Or we mess it up and we actually are going against us. Not yet. So we are crossing the important level right there. Not very strong, but as we said, we may retest the lows and that's probably going to be our exit. Let's see if we can do something not as strong as this one, but something to get us on a good mark. Makes sense. So this and this, volume pretty much the same, right here, right here. This is an improved bar. We should get something like this next, but improved, so maybe even a green bar, it's possible. I would not like to see that. All right, it's still red, but it is better bar than this other one. On lower volume, the way that we showed before, pretty good commitment of the bar itself, but again, levels are holding up. Let's go one more. There you go. That's where we changed the behavior. This, it's much better than this. Volume lowered. This improvement over this says what? Careful. Now, we know that there is supply there, but how much? Let's see. Exhaustion. This over this. Some exhaustion. Let's see one more. All right, some improvement of these, but commitment pretty bad. What time it is? It is 11:45. We know that everybody is at lunch, so it's not gonna be too aggressive. Let's continue. Exhaustion. We are saying right there that we don't have too many people to push this down. As we said, it's 11:45, close to 12. Makes sense. Let's go one more. Of course, if sellers are not coming in, demand is coming in. Oh my goodness, what is happening with this? We are retesting those lows again. Now we do have to look into this trading range right here, and we see what? We see some improvement of the volume right here, where important level, very important. We have these two bars, one bar, these two bars. So 2 bars, and this is 1 bar. 1 bar, 2 bars, 1 bar, then 2 huge candles, exhaustion, 2 and 2. This is a tiny improvement, but not by a lot. So we may expect actually to come a little bit higher here, and let's look a little bit of the bigger picture, because this is where it starts to be heavy, and then again we are just like, our brain is just gonna shut down and say, nah, just keep trading. We have a trading range right here when we don't have a trading range right here. That's clear strength. Now we have a trading range, here, that is important, and it's where? All right, ish. Okay, now I think that we are losing the sellers. But let's continue. One more bar. All right, not a lot of demand either. We're exhausting at the support. It feels that, yeah, it feels that it's gonna be green. That is an improvement of the demand right here. Improved, some improvement. Okay, yeah, we should look to get out. That could be an LPS, last point of support local. If you're looking at this as a trading range, tiny, if you open it, it will actually show as a trading range, and that could be a last point of support. Selling zone is right here. We went through this. Exhaustion. Interesting. Attempt to go down again. It's 12:30. We don't have too many people yet. And then we drop into the support again. Now we can compare this one to something like this, right? Support. We know that we are weak and we are not very strong on any of the sides right now, but sellers is what matters for us because we are short. So we are looking for that moment that we should get out as best as we can. And let's look at this volume actually, and we see what? We see something like this, improved weakness here. This is the best bar, so yeah, we could have this or this. So let's see what is next. Makes sense. Because we took this and we calculated with something like this or like this, we're gonna have what next? One of these two bars. But this is smaller, so we're gonna have this better. Now, what is next? Maybe a retest, maybe a retest. Let's go for that retest. That's a retest. That's an interesting retest. We are at support and holding that support. This is already risky. If I would be with real money, I probably would get out. But the overall structure, it still feels a little bit weak. So let's get one more chance. A retest of that support. Some demand is coming in. Immediate change. Ooh, that's a double cross. Let's see. This bar shows a little bit of interest into pushing down. It's not strong, but it's not bad either. So let's do one more. We are. That's interesting. Improved into volume, same as this one. This is worse for sure. And then we improved here. Where are we? We are at this level. At this moment, that's a very important level. Now, let's do the swings. Weak, exhaustion, exhaustion, strong, exhaustion, and exhaustion after coming some demand in here, but feels pretty weak. Let's see. That's a very good sign. We still did not commit below, but we are there. Let's see. All right. Some attempt to push below. Makes sense, some demand coming in. Let's see how strong is that demand. We're close to 1 p.m. 1:30. Some demand is coming in there and trying to hold there, but if we are with this area, I could give it another try. Yes, some demand is there present. This is very similar with this double cross, and that means that we may have an attempt to push down. Not so strong like before. Interesting. Okay. It's not great either, but demand is present. This is a little improvement. Let's see, I'm missing something. We have the push down, we have the attempt, we have the retest. Let's do one more. Okay, sure. It's a bug on the trading view. All right, we're attempting to go at the resistance. I will say that something like this could work. Estimation. Just to be more easy to view. And then we see what? We see this push. It is longer than this. It's not as strong as this yet, but we could improve. Now the idea is, are we retesting these areas? Are we changing completely the behavior and they were going against us? Let's see. Interesting. Some volume came in and immediately drop. I like that one because I was sweating it through. Why? Because it came into these important levels here, but immediately we saw some sellers in here. So after that we are seeing what? Something like this. That's great. Let's move on. Exhaustion. Immediate exhaustion. Not really good for us. That was very aggressive red candle, so nice, beautiful. Because of that red candle, I will give it a 70% chance to actually go back into where we are. Look at this. We are at support again. We are holding that support. High volume, it's about 220. We are late. We need to get out. Do you remember this? From here, 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 they are all the same. So we have what next? Test. Let's see that test. Test is improved of demand. Interesting. So then means that we have, where did we have multiple like this? Probably this area, probably, yeah, probably this one and here. Okay. Yeah, there is some demand hidden in here. And we are close to the support. Maybe even my lines are not so great. Let's see, what do we do? What do we do? We give one more chance? Let's give one more chance. Ho 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 ho! Beautiful. That was beautiful. Now, let's go a little bit of like why we gave the chance. And actually, after this, we are gonna look into getting out because we are good. But things will change because it's time to close the market. What I saw is this strength here against this one. We are seeing the commitment of actually trying or not trying. So I will even say that this was some profit taken. Where? At important level? Does it make sense? We know that 90% of traders get out at support or resistance. So that's probably what that one was. Do we get out? Let's see. We have this bar, then improvement with volume. So it's hidden demand as well in there. And then this one. Let's see what time is it exactly. It's 2:30. Okay. If it's 2:30, we have a maximum of 30 minutes in the best case scenario. If we have a strong push back, we will not be able to get out so good because we don't have enough time to retest. Maybe. But as we are doing this as replay, let's give it a chance. Now, not just because replay, remember, don't create something that it's gonna be a bad habit for yourself, but what I'm seeing is improvement of strength. With that, we are expecting something like this or even better, something like this, and then a retest like this that should be even better than this because this is a really good bar. Am I wrong? I don't know. Let's see. Test. Ooh. That test was very strong. This test was capable of reaching here. Remember this one here? And then we had this. Now, knowing that we may have a test first, this one is very risky at this point because there is a lot of demand here. But we are waiting for a possible test like that. Let's see. Makes sense. We called it. We said that there is more demand in there. There is some exhaustion, but also exhaustion of the sellers, as we are seeing improvement in the bar itself. Some volume is lower here. Stopping action right here. We are about 240. We have very little bars to actually get out good. And probably even that's why that demand, it's possible that a lot of traders are actually closing their trades from here because the day is ending. That's actually important. All right, then let's get out here and actually let's see what happened after this. We're out. What was that? $2,000. Okay, beautiful trade. And now let's see what happened without us. Test, we called it. Drop down. I was looking for something like that, but it did not happen. So we had this improvement. Now again, a lot of traders are closing because at the end of the day and then drop. Now high volume means what? Demand. Hidden demand, of course, with the sellers. It's not just demand. Test. And that. We could have this bar right here and actually coming into a last point of supply before overnight actually pushing down, and we would actually lose $1,000. So was our exit good? I would say so. All right, guys, really nice trade. If you like this, please give me a sub, a like, and a comment if you would like to tell me how you like these things, and stand by. We will do more of this type of trades. Maybe look into both options that we have, the behind the Wyckoff and the Weekend Workshop, and tell me which one you like better. I would like to know what you prefer, so I know what to focus on for you and for myself. Have an amazing week, and I will see you next week for something similar to this.
I feel it building, pressure in my chest. Wick try to take me, I ain't leaving.